Hey folks, how are you guys doing? Welcome to Wine Wednesdays. We haven't done this in a while. Get your wine, because we're going to be talking about some subjects today. Keep in mind that, it may not be a weekly thing that we do the recordings like the Wine Wednesdays, but whenever there's a topic that we want to discuss with you or bring to your attention, kind of like food for thought, we will have our Wine Wednesdays, okay? And this particular Wednesday, I want to talk about something. It's a very basic topic. It's very simple, but it has a great impact, okay? And it has to do with making the Dominican Republic your experience. Now, what do we mean by that? Listen, as part of a person's due diligence, when they're looking into a country, they're going to look into the opinion of other expats about the country they're looking into. They want to know the experiences that other people have had, the impression they have had, what their experience has been, what their life has been, and that's okay. It's okay because it stands to reason that, if an expat, let's say an American, a Canadian of the same culture goes to a country, you're going to want to know, what do other people from this country have to say about the DR? That's to be expected. What you have to shy away from or avoid is basing your final decision about the Dominican Republic on the third party perspective, meaning on what other people have to say about it. And why do we say this? Before we get into brass tacks, I want to introduce a guest. I had mentioned before when I started Wine Wednesdays that we were going to be having guests over. And I have the great honor to invite Omar Best. Omar Best is a globetrotter. He is originally from Texas, American, but has Panamanian residency. He's currently living in Colombia, and we're getting him residency here. So this guy's been around, okay? And he works with me. Like, he's with me he handles my YouTube. So all the recordings that you see are done by him. And, he works with me in the conference circuit, okay? So we're gonna invite Omar now. Omar, come join us. He didn't want to, by the way, I forced him. Like, yes, you are coming to talk on my next Wine Wednesdays. Hi, Omar.
Oh, I'm muted. Hello. I don't have any wine, but I have some
As long as it's alcohol, we're good.
Colombia beer. So
look at you. He's chugging.
let me take a little. Let me take a little swig.
Get us going on this hot topic. So, Omar and I were just having this conversation yesterday after we had the recording sessions yesterday. Let me tell you, there are no two people who are identical. You have emotional and intellectual makeup that is different backgrounds, different upbringing, even different belief systems. So two people can live the exact same experience and have different outcomes and different outlooks, okay? So this is why basing a decision to come or not to come to a country on someone else's experience is an error. That is a mistake. Me personally, ever since I was a child, guys, I think outside the box. I don't think and view life like anybody you've ever met. Completely different. Some might say even eccentric. I have an eccentric approach to life. So I definitely know that I could hear everybody out. But when it comes time to decide, it has to be based on my own experience. And we're going to start getting a little bit into why that's important, okay? First of all, let me just say that why your purpose for coming to the country influences a lot the outcome of your experience in that country. What do I mean to say about this? You know, people come to the country for different reasons. You have people that come to retire, live the quiet life. You have people that just want to change. They want kind of like a plan B for the future. Other people want to come invest, and other people come to be in party mode. Now, what do we mean by party mode, right? Listen, it is okay to come to, to in life to want to every once in a while kick up your heels, have a good time, attend a good party, go out with friends. It's part of life to enjoy yourself. Now, people who live in constant party mode, that's a different thing. See, people who are always on party mode attract a certain type of people, okay? And not just foreigners who are of like mind, but also with the locals, okay? Locals can always tell who is here on party mode, okay? It's just a constant party all the time. And you attract the wrong kind of locals because, and I gotta say, that's not just something exclusive to the DR. Any part of the world that you live in, if you are all about party, you're always going to attract the same kind of people. And these are people that are not necessarily, trustworthy folks. People who are going to want to take advantage, they're going to want to have fun on your coattails, people who can get you into some trouble. So you have to analyze the reason that is bringing you to the country. Baby, simply said, if you live all crazy, you have to expect some kind of result. What do you say about that, Omar?
Yeah, I would have to agree with a lot of what you're saying. Um, from my experience, folks come to these different countries and um, they're they're doing, they're doing the drug stuff. Um, they're like, I see a lot of people, which I still don't understand. Even if you're in the States, I've seen people where they're drunk out of their minds, where they're basically unconscious, and they're in a foreign country, and don't necessarily have I guess, a trustworthy support system, and out here in these streets, as they say, in these foreign countries, and they're basically a sitting duck, you know. Um, so what
So they
I
don't know
guess
nobody, they don't know anybody, they don't speak the language, but they partying hard, you
right,
know.
and it's it's something sad to see, because like it's you sometimes you like, I have tendencies kind of like mind my business. So if I see somebody out there like that, you know, in my mind I probably want to help them, but then my other mind is like saying, if I go over here and butt myself in this guy's business, it may not turn out the way that I'm expecting it to turn out. So I tend to just mind my business. But I do advise folks to be careful, and like I just don't like I said, if you're gonna go out there and party and get inebriated, or drink a little, I think that you need to have some folks that's trustworthy, that's with you if you're gonna do that. But definitely don't be going out
And
there at it alone, doing that
yeah,
type of stuff.
and don't be in a small town and get known as the party animal. You know what I'm saying? I mean,
Yeah,
some of these towns in the DR are kind of small and word gets around fast. So you get a
yeah,
foreigner over there living all crazy. You
yeah,
understand?
yeah, and I'm yeah, I would tend like first off, I wouldn't recommend that, like I guess the better way to say it is that when you do come overseas, you're gonna meet you're gonna meet local folks that are genuine, authentic, and they genuinely become your friends. And like you can technically, you feel very, very comfortable bringing them into your intimate space, your home. But I definitely would not advise that, just coming out and you just meeting somebody and or hosting a party at your house in this foreign country with all of these different local folks having access to your home. Like I just for me, I've always been kind of like on the cautious side. A lot of folks will tell me that, Omar, you need to live a little, but on the flip side, I'm alive. and I've
Yes.
been living and I've been living overseas in Medellin,
And you
Colombia,
haven't had issues. You know,
and I
this
haven't had
guy,
any
he's just
issues. Yeah,
around.
yeah.
I
So
gotta give
I've
it to
been
him. Omar came here for the last conference. What were you here, a month and a half? And I mean,
yeah,
he
about a
was
month and a
happy,
half.
he had his fun, but he kept it under control, nice and straight. When you
Yeah,
have fun, you
my
went
my
out,
yeah, my
we hit
my 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 vice is, I like to. My thing is, I do like to go to the casino. That's one of my vices. I like to go to the casino. I'm I've never been the club rah rah guy. Um, but I will go. But I also, like I said, I just have never been that type to put myself in a situation where I don't know what's going on, where I'm
yeah,
out of control.
and
And
that's
you definitely can't be in that mode anywhere, especially where I'm at right now in Medellin. That's just that's not smart,
in Colombia.
in Colombia at all. So
And see, and I'm gonna tell you, I want to revert, okay, to a movie. And I'm sure a lot of you have seen this movie, but I'll explain it to you. The movie was with Brad Pitt, me and Anthony Hopkins, and Meet Joe Black. Okay. Now, that's it's like a modern rendition of Death Takes a Holiday. So basically, the general plot of the movie is that death takes human form and comes to Earth on a vacation. And he interacts with different people. And at some point, among the people he interacts with, there's a woman from the islands, okay? And they meet at a hospital. She's fatally ill, but she can see him for who he is, okay? In fact, she got scared because she was like, that's a bad spirit, but she could see him for who he is. And at some point, they become friends, and she tells him, "You are not in the right place, mister. Come with me now," because she was about to die. "Come with me now and let's leave together." And he tells her, "I don't want to go. You see, I'm not lonely here." So she says, "Oh, it's like when you go on vacation to the islands and the mosquitoes don't eat you. And you sit out in the sun and it doesn't burn you red. It just burns you brown. It just makes you brown. But don't be fooled. If you stay long enough, it's bound to happen." So the moral behind that little story that she said, it is not the same thing to visit a country than it is to live in a country. When you actually live in a country, the idiosyncrasies of that culture are going to come to light. Okay. The negative aspects of the country are going to become known to you. And
Yeah,
every country in the world, folks, it has its good and bad. Every country in the world, doesn't matter where you go, you stay long enough, you live there, you're gonna see it. Now, what determines how well you do in a country is to the extent that you observe the tendencies, the idiosyncrasies, and act in consequence with what you have learned. So if you know this is the tendency of the country, you're going to act in a way that doesn't get you caught in that net. You're going to know what to avoid, what type of people to avoid. You understand? In other words, when people come to the DR and they observe, okay, they learn, they're able to see. And I myself have lived here for almost 20 years. I haven't had a serious issue, and I have plenty of clients that could say the same. They love the DR. Now, they can tell you everything wrong with it. That mañana attitude, that lackadaisical attitude, it makes you want to wring somebody's neck.
Yep.
You have people that, yes, you do have people that can see you and try to take advantage of the gringo, but sweetie, that's going to happen wherever you go. People they need to understand this is not something particular to the DR. It is wherever you go, you're always going to find things of this nature. It's how you deal with it. And what happens a lot of times is that people come in here, they know, right, Omar? Tell me. I know how to walk the street. I know.
Right.
Because I live here and there. I've been around. I'm a veteran. I did this and that. So they're going to come here like they know something.
Right.
No.
Yeah, you
no.
make a very, very good point about that, because right now, and I'm speaking on Medellín, there's been a lot of drugging going on, and some of these folks have been, especially particularly guys, what they're doing is they're going on these dating apps, and particularly Tinder,
I'm afraid
and
of those. I got to
they
tell
are
you.
linking up with these girls, and they are. Say that again.
No, I didn't say anything. I didn't
Oh,
say anything.
so they're linking up with these girls, and come to find out they're part of like this big crime ring.
Oh,
And
Lord.
so these girls basically will go back to their, they go back to their room or whatever, or hotel or apartment, whatever, and they put something in a drink, and sometimes these guys are just knocked out for a couple of days, and or in worst case scenario, they're done for. And
Oh,
so to your point about people thinking that they're veterans and they know how to travel, I've realized that the common denominator with all of these guys that are getting taken advantage of like this is that they're going on Tinder. So I did a podcast with another friend of mine, and he was asking me, some tips, and I said, well, stay off of Tinder. and and these guys were sitting over here arguing me down, and they're like, well, if I, you just need to know how to vet. Well, out of you only need one. You only need one girl to drug you for you to be done for. So
mm-hmm.
you basically need to have 100% success rate. So why chance that? But to your point, for people that are on the ground in these different places, and they're telling you, hey, watch this or do this, and they're giving you real world on the ground advice, but you're bucking that advice, then it's like at this point I can't, because I've told people this. I've had friends who live here who've telling people this, and nobody won't listen. So you're continuing to have in this case in Medellin, it's a grave issue. But
It is. That's serious business,
yeah,
honey. That's serious. And
so
let me just say, Medellin is gorgeous.
yes,
I have visited Medellin on business. It is gorgeous. I mean,
beautiful weather.
that place at night looks like something out of a storybook.
Mm-hmm.
It's gorgeous. So you would never think that things like this are going on. But Omar
Yeah.
lives there. Omar lives there.
Yeah.
You know, he ain't visiting. Like I went there. Ooh, look at the lights. Look at the mountains. They look like Christmas trees. I was awed. But now Omar, who lives in Medellin, is breaking down what actually happens. Yes, it's beautiful. Yes, it's nice. Weather's great. Economy good. But look at the pitfalls. And every
Yeah.
country has them.
And then the other thing that I would say is the attitude that you have
Yes.
in any country, you cannot be coming into these places with this, I'm an American,
Oh,
so
yes.
so
You,
so I'm better than you.
baby.
You have to put, you have to put that down. Like you have to understand, like I always tell people, um, you're a visitor. They're they're at home. Like, football residents. This is you're on their home field or their home turf, and you're a visitor. So you have to act accordingly, because frankly, in some of these countries, they don't care. You know, anybody can get it.
But
So,
Omar, you a hot mess.
you know,
Listen,
so
I want y'all to see Omar. This is Omar. Yeah. And don't
so
listen. And don't let him have 2 or 3 more beers because he'll start cussing. He's trying to keep it civil.
yeah,
He'll
I
start
mean,
cussing up a storm on this recording. But
I
you know
mean,
what? But let me just tell you, you have hit such an important issue. It's like when people come here, well, this is how they do it in the US. Let me
yeah,
stop you. Let me stop you right where you are. Do you see where you are? You are in a country that has nothing to do with the US or Canada or Europe, but you are coming here talking about why isn't this done the way it's done in my country? You can't
right,
come with this attitude. Come
right.
on.
Yep,
First
you
of
have to
all,
take a step. You definitely have to take a step back, because look, I've, because the manana attitude, the people making mistakes, you know, at this point, um, I'm at peace with the shit now. Excuse me for cursing, but
no, go ahead.
but
Listen.
but I,
We're not talking law, baby. So if
yeah,
you want to say, if you want to cuss, you can on Wine Wednesdays. You can.
but what I'm saying is, like, at this point, I'm at peace with it. Like when I'm ordering a service, or getting someone to do a service for me and it's messed up or whatever, at this point of me being over here for living abroad and understanding, you know how it goes, I just kind of laugh at it now. And then because I know that a lot of folks have the tendency to make mistakes. They have the tendency to put us, if we have a project or something that we ordering, they'll put us on the back burner. And so you have to be proactive and kind of, give them a nudge and say, hey, where you guys at on this? So you just have to be proactive, and you got to keep your calm. It is what it is, you know.
Yeah, and you have to also understand. Listen, the energy that you bring to this country is going to determine how things are going to go on. You know how things are going to evolve around you.
Yeah,
If you come with this attitude, because when you say this is how they do it in the US, you're coming with the mentality that the US is better than the DR.
right,
Okay. It's a superior attitude. If you're going to come to this country with that attitude, it's going to infiltrate in everything that you do. And you're going to
right,
be dissatisfied. In general, you are, because you've come with the mindset to compare everything. Okay. But these are the same people that are running out of wherever they live because they want to come here for a different scenery, a different
right,
future, a different plan. But then they come here and they have this mentality. So you have to be careful with that superior mentality. You need to understand it's a different country, it's a different culture. People do things differently. Let me understand and let me just groove with it. Like if there's a
Yeah,
mañana attitude, baby, start earlier. If
right,
you're starting at 9, start at 7. You get what I'm saying? You have to
right,
compensate. But
right,
then the other thing I want to say, when people come here, I don't know why, but logic flees the mind when people come here. And I said this in another Wine Wednesdays talking about relationships. You're going to get involved with someone that you do not understand. Y'all don't speak the same language. You don't even sign. Okay. I don't know how you doing it, but you in a relationship, you about to get married with a person you don't understand from a different culture.
right,
Logic says that's going nowhere fast. So the same people I'm helping to get married, I'm helping to get divorced. I ain't even lying.
right. Yeah,
My
and
firm almost schedules it. Okay.
yeah,
We're
and
being honest, right?
right.
It ain't good
Yeah,
to talk
and
wine and beer
that,
because once you get the alcohol involved, we're talking honest. The same people we're helping to get married, journal, diary it. You're gonna help these same people get divorced in a bit of time. The other thing, listen, I'm not criticizing relationships. I want to be clear about this. It is not that two people from different cultures who don't speak the language, I'm not saying they can't have a relationship. I'm saying it is a high risk relationship because the communication, which is the centerpiece of our relationships, is missing.
and I would add that if you're not spending time in the country, like if you're only here for 2 months and you're back in the States for the rest of the year, like uh, you know, come on. you know,
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
I mean it. I
So
mean,
so so
where is
so
that?
like
Where is that
yeah,
supposed to go? And that,
right.
so that
So
relationship. No, and what about the age difference,
yeah, the
baby?
age difference, like yeah, and I see that a lot where
Baby, look,
and
if you have,
it boggles my mind because in the Dominican Republic, I mean, all of these different countries, so I see these guys who are in their 60s trying to date 21-year-olds or 18-year-olds.
where, I
And,
mean,
and,
where
and,
is
and, and, and the fact of the
that?
matter is, it's like you got some fine, you know, 40-year-old, like people that are closer to your age bracket
They ain't trying to hear that. They ain't
that are empty nesters that they'd love to you know deal with a 60-year-old American or whatever, but for whatever reason, and I mean I can't blame them, but like you say, logic, like in my mind, logically speaking, if I was that 60-year-old dealing with that 21-year-old, um, I know what it is. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm not. It's no expectations. Like I'm. This chick has a whole life to live. I'm in the fourth quarter. You know, so that's my thinking of it. If you do
But
that
see,
and be about that
these
type
are
of
the
life,
same, and these are the same,
you have to know where you're at.
and these are the same people that when inevitably what has to happen happens, the relationship, it
Breaks up.
it
They're
breaks up,
calling her.
it's
They're mad at
divided
her.
or whatever. The DR is the place from hell. It's all the
Right.
DR's fault. You
Right.
understand what I'm saying?
Right.
You threw logic out the door.
Right.
Okay, you did something that you would not do in any, because that's what I said at the last Wine Wednesdays. They do things here they wouldn't do in their country because it
Right.
defies logic. And then when the inevitable happens, the DR is the place from hell. Watch it.
Right.
Is it the DR or is it the choices that you're making?
Right. Yeah,
And
because I mean, like the fact of the
I'm
matter
like,
is, you're dealing with a you know with it's not only the age difference, it's just it's also a matter of the maturity level. So you're dealing with
Yeah.
a 21-year-old or 18-year-old. This girl she's still trying to find herself. She's in party mode. She wants
See,
to
she's
hang with
trying
her
to find
girl.
herself
She's in
in a
school.
couple of other people. She's trying to
Right,
find herself in a couple of other people. Let me just tell you.
right.
But see, and then let me just say, I'm gonna go ahead and be politically incorrect. I'm gonna
Mhm.
say it, Omar.
Oh God.
That you bring it. Listen, if we talk, if we talking about this subject, we bringing it. We ain't talking law now. We talking wine
Mhm.
Wednesdays. We breaking it down for people. Listen, folks, it's like Kanye West song says, gold diggers are everywhere. What you think you don't have those in the States, baby? You
Right.
think you don't have gold diggers in the States? Don't talk to me
And my
about the
thing,
Republic like they
and my
only. You got gold diggers
and my
everywhere.
thing, exactly. And I will say this, like, I don't have like, you know, if I had a daughter, you know, I would want her to be with someone who's able to, to support her, or I don't want her dealing with somebody that's just that she's gonna be at a
Of
disadvantage for.
course,
So
of
I don't
course.
necessarily have so I don't necessarily have a problem with with girls or women that are looking for guys who have, I guess, resources. My beef is with the guys not recognizing that some of these chicks, like, that's what they are, with you for. And I
That's
think that and I think that if guys just basically get just internalize that, then everybody would be better better off, because I think that, especially a guy that's older up in age, who's been married for 30 years, maybe just got divorced, maybe he's not necessarily looking for a relationship, he's just looking to have fun. Or and
yeah,
maybe the girl that's the alleged looking for a guy that can help her with stuff, maybe
and
she's
take care
just
of
looking
baby.
for fun as well. But I think the issue that happens is that these guys, particularly these guys, are looking for love. They're not looking for fun, and they're mixing the two up, and that's where everything just goes
And you
haywire.
and you have to be careful. What we're
Yeah,
advising people, use your years of experience to guide you.
yeah,
Relate if you are looking for love, there's certain criteria that you have to set. There's certain red flags you have to look out for. And that's here or wherever you are. You
yeah.
understand? Now, there's another factor
And let, and
that
let me and let me add this. I think that a lot of guys as well, they know, like, when a female girl or whoever you're dealing with is on some BS, or they're not really feeling you like that, as they say. You know, you are just fighting it, or just overlooking it, and trying to move forward, or what I call it, trying to put a circle into a square. Um, and so, you know, and
but I
so
got
I would say if your instincts and your alarm bells are going off, don't fight that, especially overseas. Especially
got to
overseas.
hear that voice in your head. But I want to
Yeah.
say something about the DR. See, because a lot of people have the mindset, oh, they target the gringos. Let me tell you something. I have a friend who's a colonel in the Air Force. We had dinner the other day. He was like, girl, I done had it with women. Dominican man. I said, what is your problem? Now, truth has to be said. We're friends and I love him as a brother, but he's a Don Ho, okay? This man comes out. He's like, we went to have dinner on Valentine's Day. I'm like, how are you alone on Valentine's Day? This is sad. He was like, I had it with women. Get the bottom. I had it with women. I'm like, what is your problem? He's like, look, now I'm tired of getting hit up for money. He's like, I can't take a a chick on a date. Well, I gotta hear about her rent being due. I gotta hear about the electric gonna get cut off. I'm tired of this
Right.
man. That's why
Yeah.
I'm having my Valentine's with you, girl. And I'm like, but see, you crazy. I said, you live all crazy. You attract these women. He was like, you don't tell me that. Women are out to see what they could get out of men. Girl, like he's better. I love him. Now he's a friend, but he's better. So,
Mhm.
honey, this has nothing to do with the gringos. I got Dominican men telling me they had enough. I had this other friend, he's a general. I'm like, so are you dating anyone? He's like, I ain't trying to date people. I'm on a budget. What does that have to do with anything? Like, sweetie, on date number 2, you better start forking out for the salon and all that because they ain't trying to have it. But so I'm trying to say, this is not saying that Dominican women are gold diggers, all of them. What I'm trying to say is that women of all cultures, no matter where you go, are going to have a criteria on which they base their selection of a man. And most women around the world want a man that can resolve financially, people. That this is not about, Dominican. This is not about you're a gringo or you're a Canadian or you're a foreigner, so I'm coming after you. Dominican men were complaining about this to me. And
Yep,
so,
I can see that.
what do I have to say? You have to use, as you said, you have to hear your intuition, hear the inner voice. If the red flags are going off.
Cut it off.
Now, my ex-husband, I'm gonna tell you this experience. When we had broken up, we remained friends. And he was, kind of sort of dating somebody. He was like, I don't know about her. And I'm like, see, but I like her. Because she had a daughter. This chick worked 2 jobs, had her own place. This girl had her own place, had her life in order. This girl worked night and day, but she took care of her daughter. And she's a beautiful blonde. This girl could have said, look, I want to be a kept woman. Let me get a man with means to take care of me. And she could have. Gorgeous woman. My husband's current wife, my ex-husband's current wife, is a gorgeous woman. And when he spoke to me about her, I said, I like her because she has the looks to get a man who can keep her, but she chooses to work 2 jobs and take care of herself and her child. Go with the blinders on. And I don't mind telling you that I organized, I planned their wedding because my ex-husband was simple. This man wanted to go in front of a judge and get it over with. I'm like, honey, she's never been married. She's never dressed in white and had a party. And every woman needs that. Let me help you with this. So I arranged a nice reception for them. But see, that's one of the first things I told him. She takes care of herself. So you could always observe a person and see what they're about.
Yep.
If they're with you because they want to get benefit or if they're with you because they really care. Now, by the way, don't mistake a person wanting for you to have a means of production. Don't mistake that for the person trying to take advantage, right off. Because it's like you said, if you had a daughter, you wouldn't want her to be taken care of you would want your child to be taken care, by someone who's not going to be a parasite, who's not going to rely on her, a person who can take care of her, who can work shoulder to shoulder to meet goals as a couple. You have to look at these things, So if a woman wants a man to produce or vice versa, ain't nothing wrong with that. That doesn't mean she's a gold digger. Gold diggers, when you just, like my friend had a second dinner and they already at dessert talking about how her rent is due. He was like, I had it, girl. We were, and he was kind of tipsy when he was telling me that. I'm like, come on, talk to mom. He was like, because As I said, he was straddling 3 women now, Omar.
And see,
He a
that's the
dog.
other, and
All
so,
three of them wanted money.
and so that is probably the other, the other thing
We
that
should, and
maybe
let me tell you,
be
we
his
should be
issue,
talking about
because
this subject while we're
but,
drinking.
but hold on, but that may be another issue where you try to juggle three females at one time. Now that's gonna be an
Between,
issue, you know.
between you and me, he deserves it. I'm like, good for you. You want to be a dog and date 3 at the same time? They should leave your wallet bare. Your wallet should have moms flying in and shit. I'm
Yeah,
like,
like
you
they say, you got to pay the cost to be the boss, huh?
that's what I said. He was like, you ain't even right. It's Valentine's Day. Can we get off me? It's wrong. You wrong. And I'm like, no.
Right. Yeah.
But so, and there's another thing I wanted to mention, another factor to take into account. You know that Russell, who is a brother to me, moved to Thailand. He left the Dominican Republic and he left to Thailand. And in the video that he did, where he talks about leaving to Thailand, he said something that really struck a chord in me. He said, folks, the universe is speaking to me. Now, it has been a while since I've thought about going to Thailand, but I put it off and I put it off, and things started to run amok. They started to go bad. And every time I move forward with my plans to go to Thailand, everything just flows. The minute I have second thoughts and drag my feet, things start to happen. Everything starts to go wrong. So the universe is guiding me to Thailand. Let me tell you, his recording was an hour and 4 minutes. I didn't go any further than that introduction because it is so true.
Yeah.
It's like Oprah says, we are all guided by the universe. First, it is a whisper. Then the voice comes in louder. You ignore it, a brick wall falls on your ass. Okay?
Yeah,
So
and to that point, I think that a lot of people, especially folks that have been living abroad, in different places, like, you may go to a country that you feel like that's going to be your final destination. And, as you said about Russell, you know, um, you may go and visit another country and feel like this is more of a fit than the country that you're currently in. And I've seen this several times. I've seen folks move from Mexico to Panama, from Panama to Colombia, from Colombia to the Dominican Republic, from the Dominican Republic, like with Russell, to Thailand, to Europe, you know, because there, it's kind of like you say, it's a progression in life. And sometimes people even go back to the States, because they're tired of you know, of living abroad. And I've seen people transition back into the States. But to me, I feel like especially in the expat community, people living are deciding to move and give another place a try. That's pretty common. It seems pretty common. And it's and of course, we know a lot of people who split time between two uh different places. So like that's not abnormal, you know. So
I'll be honest with you. In this highway, this universal highway that we're on, because the reason why that struck a chord with me, I didn't see the rest of it. It was an hour and 4 minutes, and I didn't go past that point because I felt that the universe led me to the piece of that recording that I needed to hear. Because I don't mind telling you, those words resonated with me so much. In this universal highway we're on, we're all in different vehicles going at different speeds toward different destinations. Perhaps what is guiding Russell to leave the DR is guiding someone else to come to the DR.
Right. Hmm.
So there is that call. I've had several clients tell me that. I don't know why, but something is just bringing me here. I just need to do this, even though people don't understand why. I myself don't understand why. Well, to me, that's a universal calling. So that is the reason why the third party perspective is a risk, because that person could be on a different path than you are. And here
Right.
you are trying to follow their steps when you're meant to be here.
Hmm. Yeah, and
So,
it's all about your, I guess, where you're at in life, the phase that you are in life. Because like I
yes,
said, like in my situation, um, I've never I've never been married. Um, I don't have kids of yet, but I aspire to eventually get married and eventually have kids. So this is the phase that I'm in. However, if I had been somebody who's had kids, I'm an empty nester now, or a divorcee, or uh, I've been married for 30 years, 20 years. My phase or where I'm at in life is totally different. So you're gonna have different aspirations and different desires than someone in a totally different phase.
absolutely.
You know.
Absolutely. And that's why and by the way, after Russell left, I spoke to him and I said, brother, I have this feeling that Thailand is not your last stop.
Wow.
I get the feeling that Tailor Made Dreams started out in Puerto Plata, has led you to Thailand, but from there you're going to other places.
But his theme is getting out of the matrix. So that, I
That's
mean,
what it
that's part
is.
of it. Yeah.
So I think that Russell's purpose is to go to different countries and bring, shine a light
On
on
those
the
countries.
conditions of that country, good and bad, for those who are looking for options. And
Right.
I'm like, baby, you about to go global.
Hmm.
Thailand ain't your final step. So I hope that when the universe tells you to leave Thailand, you don't go through this again.
Right.
You got to go, because I just have that feeling that Tailor Made Dreams is just meant to go to different countries. And I
Hmm.
told him this because
Hmm.
Russell's my brother. I love Russell. Listen, Russell is so special to me. You have no idea what Russell means to me.
And Russell is on the channel. So
He is on the channel. And I
yeah.
told Russell, I'm like, baby, you are going to end up, watch this happen. You're gonna tell me, girl, I'm headed to another country. So his purpose is different.
Right.
Things started to go bad for him in the DR, in my opinion, because he needed to go and he kept dragging his feet. And that's what happens. This is what Oprah explains. The universe will first nudge you, and then they're gonna shove your behind to where you need to go.
Right. Yeah.
So the experiences that he went through have to do with forcing him into the direction that he's supposed to go to.
Right. And
So,
to your point, like I I I think that like that whole universe, the universal God, your destiny, like that is some real stuff, because even my path from starting from from Texas, quitting my job, resigning from my job just out of the blue, moving to Panama to live. Like a normal person doesn't do that. But whatever was guiding me, you know, and I was at peace when I did it, you know. And so like I moved to Panama, lived there, and then now I'm here in Colombia,
and he's
you
and he
know.
listen, guys, he's
Yeah,
coming to the DR. This is his final destination.
we'll see about that. Well,
He's coming. Please
the
stop
gods have
talking.
to the gods have to we'll see about that.
Stop
But
talking. He's
but
gonna
but
end up in the DR. He's gonna
but
end up there.
my point is that it's it just seems like it's destiny. Like the people that I've met, the connections that I've made, it's not just, it feels like it was meant to be, so
Yes.
I really, I feel him on the universal, or universe telling him and guiding him as well.
That's exactly right. So if what has happened to him is part of universal guidance, but now you take his experience to mean that you shouldn't come to the DR. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
This is the purpose of this video. Make the DR about your experience with it.
Right.
You can't let someone else decide or condition your decision, influence your decision. And I want to take the time to say something else. And I hope my subscribers rise above this, okay? Because we're living in a time when social media, YouTube, even the news, mainstream,
Right.
is designed to influence and shape your thinking.
Yes.
But people who claim to be intellectual, who claim to be independent thinkers, have to rise above that.
Yes.
By all means, listen to the third party perspective, but base your decision on your own experience,
Yeah. I
on your
mean,
own thoughts, on your
yeah.
own summation of matters.
Yeah.
So,
You have to
and that,
see.
and
You
they even
have to
call it
come and
now,
see
what they
stuff on the
call it,
ground.
influencers, they call it influencers. Because the
Yeah,
whole
but
purpose is to influence other people's thinking, to influence tendencies. Now, are you going to base life decisions on outside influences? No. This has got to be something coming from you, from a place inside of you. That's a very personal matter. So when it
right.
comes time to decide whether the DR is for you can take into account all of the external factors, experience it, see how you do with it,
Right. And
because
even
you may surprise yourself.
right. And you just, I feel like, because I've seen the exact opposite. I've seen um people just go to countries and like sell all of their stuff and decide to move to a country and they've never visited the country. So that's on the other extreme, you know. And maybe the universe is guiding them to do that, but I would advise, just like you say, you cannot base, again, like you say, you cannot base your opinion on the news, what's on WhatsApp groups, Facebook groups, on social
Yeah,
media.
yeah,
Like you
no, you can't.
cannot, because again, like a lot of these folks that are telling you about these different experiences are not telling you, in my opinion, they're not telling you the whole story. Like it's some stuff in there that they're leaving out that got them in that situation that
Yes,
they are in.
you're never
So
hearing the full
yeah,
story. Yeah,
so again, to Maria's point, and my point as well, I believe that it's always good to get on the ground and see for yourself and experience these countries, or this country yourself, and not only that, experience the different parts of the country, because the city life may not be for you. You may want to be in like Maria likes the mountains. You may want to be in the mountains. That may be your vibe. Or you want to be on the beach, Las Terrenas, Puerto Plata, Punta Cana. That may be your speed. Um, so like see the entire country, because the city life may not be for you. And I know people that don't like the beach. So that may not be for you. They prefer to be in nature or what have you. So I advise people, again, yeah, don't make your decision solely on, even the embassy sites are nutty, with telling you to not visit these different places, like specifically, and I'm speaking on Colombia again. You know, when you look on the US embassy site, it's saying stay away from there. But if you're coming to these places and you're coming on this weekend warrior, you know, doing drugs and dealing with, you know, different types of folks, you know, you are basically you're getting into high risk activities that can
Yes.
possibly lead into some stuff. But if you're here on some humbug, just normal stuff, I don't that stuff is going to happen to you. It's highly unlikely that stuff anything that's going to happen to you if you're just doing regular stuff, you know.
And
So
you know, and I want to say something before I forget it. To one of the newsletters that you sent out, we had this response. I don't know if you saw it, oh, but the response was something like this. Well, the DR is a point of concern because of the racist inclinations. The world is developing, but the DR is going backward. I was like, all right, it's time to answer this dude. I'm dealing with this.
mhm,
And I said, you know, the DR has in large measure a black population.
mhm,
Like most of the Dominicans are dark skinned.
mhm,
So for them to be racist does not make sense. It doesn't adhere to logic that they are, you know, racist at all
right,
when a huge population of Dominicans are black. And I said, you know, I'm not saying this is your case, but I certainly hope that you're not being affected by, you know, comments made by others. I would recommend that you take the time to deal with the locals, to get to know the country itself before you make that judgment call. And so he writes back and says, you know, you're right. And I think I'm going to make it my goal to get to know the country well before making a decision. But notice, his initial email was already making a judgment that in the
right,
DR they're racist.
right. And
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 my response brought out that he's being influenced by third-party opinions. So, you know, I hope that our subscribers are a bit more elevated, that they're not so, you know, simple-minded that any opinion will just make them doubt, you know, their whole decision-making process. It'll, you know, deviate them from the plans that they have and throw Dominican Republic in a negative light. I seriously hope that our subscribers are not of that sort, you
yeah,
know?
and I want to add, you know, because you know, in the DR, in these in these Latin American countries, um, it's I think that is good to kind of understand the culture, because you know, I'll give you an example. You know, so like here in Colombia, um, one day I'm in a store, and this happens to me sometime. Like for instance, if I'm in a DR, sometimes you would call me Moreno. You know, you would say Moreno. Well, over here in Colombia, sometimes they will call me, you know, hola negro. You know, they'll say negro. And so
And that's
I'm saying that to say that this is a cultural thing that is not like people not if you don't understand the culture, you would immediately think that that they're trying to like you know, it's a derogatory term, but
same thing. It's the
it's not
same thing with
necessarily a derogatory term. And so like it is so funny because I was watching this Netflix uh series called La Esclava Blanca.
oh,
And
I saw that. I saw that.
and they were just throwing like they were all of them, even the black Colombians in this particular series, they were like negro, you know, mi negra. You know, like it was like they were just saying it like it was and like it was like friend or amigo, but they were just saying it like that. But if you don't know that, you'll probably come into these countries and think this because someone is calling you a different
Black.
term or referring you to a different term that they're saying in a derogatory nature, but that's not necessarily the case. And so
Yes.
that's kind of like, and that goes to understanding the culture and not necessarily just jumping to judgment, you
And
know.
it's, and listen, it's a good thing that you mentioned that, because that is a term of endearment here. To say
Hmm.
negro or to say morena. I
Hmm.
use that myself, and that's a term of endearment. That's like calling a white woman rubia, you
Hmm.
know?
Right.
So, you know, wrap your head around the fact that it's a different culture. So
Right.
things that may seem derogatory are actually terms of endearment, you know?
Right. Or you just got to take a step back, because I know that, especially in the States, it's very, very racially charged and racially uh divisive. um so like any little thing can be found offensive, but I find that outside of the US, anywhere in the world, the folks just want peace. you know they're
Yeah, they
not
do.
they're not
Yeah,
on
they do.
this, they're not at each other's throats over, you know they just want to live, you know and it's like, and one thing that I can say about what I realize, particularly in these countries, um Dominican Republic is probably the same thing, is that these folks are so focused on living, trying to make sure stuff is handled on a day-to-day basis. They're not watching the news, you know they're not, you know yeah, they're on their phones or whatever, but they're not really influenced by what the news is saying.
Yes.
um I guess the only time that happened was when they were locked down in their houses during COVID. But I can tell you, my girlfriend doesn't watch the news. Like, they're not worried about that. Like, the only thing they're watching, like right now, outside of my building, they're watching soccer. They got
Oh,
team.
yeah.
That's all. They're not worried about news. They're not bogged down in politics. Too heavy. They're just trying to live. You
They're
know.
trying to live. And I think that's the important part. I think that, you know, if one thing has come across clear here, listen, guys, we're not trying to sell the Dominican Republic. That's the one thing I want to make sure. We bring it in this channel as it is. We talk about matters plain and simple. There are positives and there are negatives to this country, as there are in every country. But how well you do here, in great measure, depends on you. Depends on the exercise of your common sense. It depends upon, how you live your life and the message that you send across to the members of this culture. You understand? So don't just look at the negative comments. It's like when you offer a service, and it's happened with my firm. When somebody's unhappy with somebody, they're all over social media. When the whole bunch of people that are satisfied, you never hear from them. So
Right.
what gets me, the same thing happens with the DR. There's so many people who've come here and have made a life for themselves. They're happy here. They feel great here. But you never hear, you never hear from them. You only hear about the 2 or 3 people that get into some issues. Okay.
Right.
So this is why the theme of this recording: make the DR about your own experience. That is the only thing that needs to influence you, your own experience with this country. Come and try it. Come see for yourself, you know? I'm not saying don't listen to experiences from others, just don't base your decision solely on that, okay?
Yeah, and
And
I think that you should get opinions. You should get opinions from people that live in the country that's been here forever. You know, you should get their feedback. Um, and you should be able to decipher the feedback that you're getting from them.
yeah, because,
You
and like
know,
I said, that's
'cause-
always gonna be part of the due diligence.
yeah,
You have to see what others have gone through because these are common occurrences. But once you're in it yourself, you may come up with a way of dealing with it that makes your outcome better than theirs. So
right.
that's what I'm saying. You
Yeah.
know,
You
if you
gotta live it. Like they say,
gotta live it.
you live and you learn. And you're gonna make some mistakes. You know, just hopefully it ain't no deadly mistakes. You just make a mistake that you can recover from.
Yeah, because that's the other thing.
Yeah,
You cannot expect to come to a place and everything is just gonna be, smooth sailing, buttercup and spring.
right.
No, 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 no. Trial and error. You're gonna
Yeah.
fall on your face a couple of times. You're gonna go through your frustrations, but that experience is shaping you. It's
Hmm.
teaching you how to navigate life here.
Right.
It's expected that when you come new to a place, you're not gonna know exactly what to do or how to handle things the best way. That comes with time, with experience. So, I mean, like I said, I've been here for almost 20 years. Omar's gonna end up living here. So, you know, you like how I threw that in there, there you go. Please, you come talking all this. You talking too much, you're gonna end up here. But anyway, the whole thing is, there are those of us who love it here, who call it home, and wouldn't change it for anything in the world. So there are two sides to every story. How will yours turn out? You determine that, okay? But we wanted to bring this Wine Wednesday to you because this topic was too hot. There was just too much commenting going on. You guys see the emails that I get and people, and sometimes in the YouTube channel, you receive these comments and it needed to be addressed, okay? But listen, you see us, we're a network of expats who are here to help you climatize to life here. So that's the benefit. Through our conferences, through the services that we provide through the different companies, through the firm, through Island Life, which is a real estate investment company, we help you climatize, okay? We go the extra mile and help you navigate through the nuances of this country and of the culture. And you have this YouTube channel. This is why I wanted to come up with Wine Wednesdays. Wine Wednesdays is not about legal processes. It's not about the law. It is not Maria the lawyer talking to you. It is Maria the expat. And we're talking about matters of life. So even this YouTube channel is designed to go the extra mile and give you some of the orientation that you need, to be able to get here and call it home. Okay, guys? But listen, I want to thank Omar. Y'all liked Omar, right? Listen, in the comments section, I want you guys to talk about Omar and what you felt about his intervention, because he fought me on this. He's like, I don't want to go on no YouTube record. Listen, I edit the recordings. I don't appear. But I have to say, to me, this was one of the best recordings we've had because you were in it.
Okay.
Whatever, I'm right. You're never gonna admit it, Omar. You're never gonna admit it. Listen, all of you people tuning in, comment on Omar. Let us know if you wish to see more of him, okay? Do me that favor. Let's show him. I mean, I'm gonna drag your ass to these reports. But anyway, listen, Omar, thank you so much for
No,
joining me today. Your input was invaluable. And what I love about it is you're not just an expat, honey. You're an expat male from the man's point of view. I like that, you know, because this way it's not just an expat talking, it's an expat male, you know, from the man's point of view. So your intervention was key tonight. I really appreciate your coming on. And I bet you that people are going to be taking notes of everything you said.
yeah, I hope that they take notes, especially, um you just have to be careful, use common sense and follow that, as my mom would say, that third eye. Because that's gonna save you by following your
And when
instincts.
we say
Typically,
third eye, it's the one up here.
yeah, follow your instincts, because I found that that's gonna save you. so, so
It
don't
is.
fight it. Don't fight
It
it.
is. And
You know,
I gotta tell you something. Most of the people that we're talking about, these are grown
they
folk.
don't they don't
They're
follow it.
grown,
They
they're
don't
grown
follow.
folk. These are people who've been around. These are people who've lived life. Some of them have been through 2 or 3 marriages. I mean, come on. You know,
Right.
you have experience. You just have
Yeah.
to use it while you're here. This is not the magical land of Narnia. You don't
Right.
cross the threshold or the border to this country and everything is, you know, wonderland. You
Right.
still got to put some common sense, like you said, to use.
Right.
And you have to vet people, vet situations, question things. I mean, don't get in it and then be like, DR did this to me. No, you did this to yourself in the DR. So
Right.
let's get the wording right, you know?
Right.
But
Right.
anyway, this was great, Omar. You were the star of this show, okay?
Was I?
Yes, you were the star of this show. You
Well,
could have done this show yourself, brother.
I'm trying.
No, you watch the comment section. I just want everybody tuned in. Get on the comment section. Talk to me about Omar. We got to bring him back. Okay.
Alrighty.
But
Alrighty.
yeah, this was great. Thank you so much. Let me tell you, your input was invaluable. And I took note of several things myself. So it's very good. Very good points. And Medellin, I'm gonna come visit you one. I love Medellin. Medellin is gorgeous.
Yes. And the weather right now
Okay,
is
that's
it's a little colder right now. Um, and it's not raining as much. Like typically,
but you
I'm
know,
sure that you were here and it was raining a lot, but right now it's not
but
raining.
Medellin is like Christmas all year round. Because let me just tell you guys, Medellin, people actually live in the mountains.
Yes.
So, like in the DR, when you cross the mountains, they look all dark. Like you appreciate them green during the day. But in Medellin, people live in the actual mountains.
Right.
So at night, all those mountains up to the tip are lit up.
Yep.
It
Yep.
looks like Christmas. They look like Christmas trees. And
Yep.
I love Medellin. Medellin is just gorgeous.
Yeah. And
I ain't
when
gonna
you go
lie.
up when you go up to those barrios, I rode the I don't know what you call that thing. I guess it's the cable car.
The cable car.
But we at one time I rode up that thing and I could see the kids playing. It looked like they was having so much fun in them
I mean,
barrios.
Medellin, I
Yeah.
tell you, it is gorgeous. It's like
Yeah.
a storybook.
Yeah.
When I saw that, I was like, this is just amazing. So
Hmm.
all the mountains are lit to the tippy top. You imagine
Yeah.
living in one of those areas up the top of the mountain? That must be awesome.
Yeah. And I can see how people, how, and see we gotta stop doing, we're advertising for Medellin.
I know
but
it.
but you know what
People, but see that. Wait a second.
but I can see why, how Colombia, when they do rate the happiest cities, or the most happiest cities, and it always is like in the top. I can
Mhm.
see why, because you're waking up to that shit. If
It's
you're living,
gorgeous.
if you're living up there in those mountains and you're waking up to the mountains and you got
Oh.
that cooler climate, you're like, how can you be
Mhm.
mad? You know?
But I have to tell you guys, that's what being elevated is about. I'm in the DR, love the DR, promote the DR, the Caribbean, but I could still recognize the beauty in another country.
Right.
It's you know what I'm saying? It's that's a very elevated point of view. It's not this or that. And for those people who want to settle in Medellin, you can contact us. Omar is here. Like we can help you navigate a process through Medellin. I've done it for other people before. So, this is not about, oh, it's DR or die.
Right.
Listen. So here we talked about stuff that happens in DR, stuff that happens in Medellin, stuff that happens anywhere.
Right.
But yeah, when I went there, it was absolutely gorgeous. It was really, really nice. And the weather was cool. But speaking of cool weather, Omar, see me with long sleeves? You see this? It is December, so it's cool outside. It's nice and cool. So we're
Oh,
all, huh?
okay. So y'all
Yeah, it's
catching that
cool.
that ocean breeze. That's good stuff.
Yeah,
Good
it's
stuff.
cold. And that's the city in the capital. In the countryside, you got to wear coats. You got to
Mm,
wear like sweaters and stuff. Honey, that's where I'm headed for
okay.
Christmas. I'm gonna go to the countryside where it's cold. I'm gonna wear socks and I'm gonna wear like a sweater and a hat.
We
I'm
need to
going.
do. We need to do. You need to talk more about those countries, or I guess do some stuff on location out there.
That's what I want to do. I want to start featuring, and we talked about this, different areas in the DR, because when you talk about the Caribbean, everybody automatically talks about beaches, they talk about but there's so much more to this country. So
Right.
I want to start doing things on location, definitely, definitely, so that people could get to know
Mm,
the island, you know?
right.
But I mean, it was great. This was so special, Omar. I just love having you. This is the beginning of the end. I'm gonna drag your ass and as many recordings as I can. You in it now. Help me now.
All
I
right. We
want
gotta come. We gotta
to
come up. We
write
gotta come up.
about
We gotta come up with a
Omar.
topic. We gotta
Huh?
come up with a. We'll come up with a topic and we'll make it happen. Okay.
We will, honey. We will. But thank you so much. This was so great. You're amazing. Your insights were very good. So thank you for that.
No problem. Good to be with you. And I'm gonna holler at you.
I know next Wednesday you're gonna be here. So whatever, get the beer ready.
All
Start cooling the
righty.
beers early because we're gonna be here next Wednesday.
All right. We'll
All right.
we'll come up with something, or people in the comment section, give us a topic. Give us something that you want us to talk about.
Yes, that's a good thing because in the YouTube channel, when it comes to legal processes, their questions create content when we respond to them. So for Wine Wednesdays, what do you guys want to talk about? Get something in there. And I promise I'll bring Omar back. Talk about Omar now because I want Omar to see it. It's not just me talking. People want to see that. Okay.
All right. We
Okay.
can't. We gonna about to go for about 3 more hours, huh?
It was good. I have to tell you, it was really, really good. And the wine's done, so I need to go get me a refill. That's right.
Alrighty.
Wine Wednesday continues without the recording. Okay.
Alrighty. I'm
All
done.
right, honey.